Welcome back to Hannity and Colmes. What would happen if a nuclear bomb exploded in New York City? Joining us now, the director of the Center for Mass Destruction Defense, Cham Dallas. What is this? Explain to us this device that's on our table here.
Well, you gave the liberal the button.
Right, I have a button right in front of me. I'm going to press it.
I apologize for that. This is a mock-up of a nuclear weapon similar to what Iran is developing now. This is the device that we used on Hiroshima 60 years ago. So essentially the issue here is in North Korea and Iran are about 60 years behind us, and they've caught up. This is a scale model of the device we used on Hiroshima 60 years ago, and they're developing now. This end of the device is the explosive, and it has an explosive that will fire this charge. This red little thing here is what we're fighting about with this issue in Iran. This is uranium-235. That's all you need.
That's it.
That's it.
Now,
you then fire that plug into this end. It's a shotgun device. Very simple.
What happens after that firing takes place?
Well, you ram that uranium into the other end, and you have a fission reaction and a nuclear detonation. A device this size would kill in New York City probably about 500,000 people.
Now, is it as simple as what I'm going to do in a moment, which would be pushing this button? Is that all that is required to detonate something like that?
Once you have the device, that's it.
So it's simple. You could put this in a van, you could put it in a truck, you could put it in the back of a car even?
Yeah, most people have the misconception you need a missile or an airplane to deliver these devices, but you don't. A ride or rent a truck, even a large panel van is all you would need.
All right, so would you like me, should we do it?
Hang on.
Notice where it's pointed.
It's pointed.
All right, so I press this button, and this is what it takes.
That's right.
And we're going to see the result. That's it.
Okay, that's it. The uranium plug was fired into another uranium plug. This the red goes into the red. Uranium-235 fired into uranium-235, and you get a fission reaction.
But how likely is it that somebody could take something like this and take the uranium and smuggle it into the United States? How easy would that be to do at this point?
I think it would be very easy to do. All we have to do is look at how efficient we're stopping the drugs from coming into the country, and we'll get an idea of how efficient we'll be able to stop.
So why hasn't it been done? We've been told that it's going to happen, will happen, likely to happen, has not been done. Why not?
It's a bit of a mystery to me that it hasn't happened yet. I would have expected it by now. One thing is for sure, every year that goes by, it only becomes more likely as more and more unstable states like Iran get these materials.
Basically, we've combined this issue with our border issue. This exact size device with that much uranium could knock out at least 500,000 people in New York. Explain what would happen if this got into New York, and it could easily be brought in.
Well, that's all it would take. Actually, this is scale. This other end would be about twice as big.
Okay.
But you get the idea. We had to make it fit the table. But that's all it would take. You could smuggle it in a container on a ship. You could just bring it in on a truck. And if you lead shielded it, it would protect it. Now, I will say the Homeland Security has been putting a lot of new devices in. Here in New York,
detectors.
Detectors. They have made leaps on that, but it's just hard to do. You'll notice
we would know if there was any radioactive material brought into New York in fairly short order?
Unless it was shielded efficiently.
How can you shield it efficiently?
You put lead around it.
And that would do it?
That would do it.
That would do it. And as soon as you unleashed it and set it up, it's too late.
Then it's too late.
You could. What is this you have here? What's that?
Now this is a device. This is a second generation device. This is a mock-up of what we dropped on Nagasaki. This device is a mock-up of what we dropped on Hiroshima.
Why the difference?
Well, this one's much more efficient. In this device, you have explosive lenses around the outside. These are little stop sign shaped explosive lenses, and little explosives that force this. The blue here, it would be plutonium, and then the green in the middle is a polonium-beryllium core, which is the trigger. These explosive lenses force the plutonium in on the trigger, and you have a thermonuclear device. Now this is, even though this looks smaller, the impact is much, much larger. This device here, this size, would not kill 500,000 people in New York City. It would kill 4 million people.
So 2 of these would kill out the whole city, knock out the whole city.
Well, if you had this one, you probably wouldn't bother with that one. This is the second generation. It's going to take them a while to get to this one.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, are we going to wake up, God forbid, one morning and find out this happens? I mean, because look, I mean, we're sitting here, and you know, I would argue that the left has politicized the Iraq war so bad we can't even act in Iran because they politicized that already. Where do we step in and say, if we don't stop this now, we will see an American city hit with a nuclear device? Am I
It's
right
going to
in
happen.
science fiction? It will happen.
It will happen. You're looking
In our
on the
lifetime?
screen. It'll happen in the next several years.
A nuclear weapon will go off in an American city?
That's my opinion, yes. And the opinion of most of the experts that I know. If you give the experts no time element on it, they all will agree, virtually all of them, that it will happen at some point.
You think in how many years America's going to see a nuclear device go off in a city?
That's
No, I want...
it's so hard. My personal opinion is we have a couple of years yet. I don't see any way we'll avoid it outside of 5 years. Not with
That's
Iran
chilling.
getting nuclear weapons.
Does our own intelligence say Iran is 10 years away from this?
That's what some of them are saying.
I have another... Whatever happened to those suitcase-sized nuclear weapons?
That's a good question. There was a lot of talk about that, 40 to 100 suitcase nukes done by the KGB
Right.
off of all inventories. Now we've looked into that a little bit more. Al-Qaeda claims to have a couple of them.
Do you think they do?
They claimed it. If they did, the tritium triggers on them long ago decayed on them. So they're not active anymore. They would have to go out and reinvigorate these devices.
And you don't... Well, if they have...
I don't know. I'm not sure about the suitcase nukes anymore. I used to be more afraid of those. I am certain that we will see there's just too much of this material being
Nation
produced.
state doing it, or some Al-Qaeda type cell not associated with any government?
I think an unstable nation state, and I would include North Korea and Iran, would use those on us.
Thank you very much for being with us
Thanks,
and
Jack.
showing us this demonstration tonight. We
I feel like I'm
appreciate
back
it.
in my own